we're coming to the end of 2024 and the end of the X-Men cycle, which was huge. Like, there's so many mutants now. And then it's kind of like the end of the old era of Marvel Champions in my mind, because there's new designers coming in. We're going to Shield and then into something completely different. And we've been on Avengers and Mutants for so long now that this feels kind of like the perfect transition point to get a snapshot of how I feel about the game and about the heroes at this point. So I'm going to be doing this based off of preference. So I have the different categories here. I have a new favorite, which is just going to be heroes that I learned to enjoy or like realized how much I liked this year or like fairly recently. An old favorite, which is just going to be the heroes that used to be my favorite heroes and still are. And then enjoy is just characters that I like, but nothing like particularly different this year. Neutral is characters that I'm neutral about. Don't enjoy is just this category is going to be for characters that I have played a significant amount, but still don't enjoy. And then here's characters that I'm excited about, and I don't have super strong opinions on either the want to play more or didn't enjoy but want to play more category. But anyways, and heroes that I'm excited and looking forward to playing more are going to go here. And then heroes that I didn't enjoy the first time, but I do want to play them more before I just like say I don't enjoy them or put them in neutral or enjoy or whatever else they end up, will go here. And I got all the people here in release order, which isn't the order I went in. So just because it's release order here doesn't actually mean that that's the order I experience them in. And it's definitely not true that the my experience grows in chronological order. So like I've skipped around a lot. But then, okay. So now let's jump into the placements. The first one here is Black Panther, which if you've seen my channel a lot recently, you know that I've been playing a lot of Black Panther, and yeah, he is one of my new favorite heroes this year. When I first played the core box, I kind of skipped over Black Panther. I looked at him and I was like, okay, I get it. You play the upgrades, you play the Wakanda Forevers, but he doesn't have that much going on other than that. And that was my initial opinion of Black Panther. But now, going back to him, I enjoy the sequencing of his upgrades more than I used to when I started playing. And he feels kind of underexplored to me because there's so much more than that you can do with Black Panther that's not just playing all those upgrades and then going from there and just trying to Wakanda Forever over and over again. It's like my rush deck that I posted, I really enjoy for him, and then there's a leadership deck I played that I liked for him. There's a lot going on with Black Panther, and I enjoy him, and he's been one of my new favorites for this year. Now, She-Hulk, this is unfortunate. She-Hulk is my first one to go in the don't enjoy tier, and that's just because like I didn't like her when I first played. Like the 4 hand size was just really frustrating to me, and then going back to her with my progression series, I still didn't enjoy her that much. Like I don't like actively dislike her or anything like that. It's just not one of the heroes that I'm really looking forward to playing. And I feel like I have explored her enough to where I don't want to put her in one of these categories. She's the first hero to get in this category, unfortunately. And then Iron Man, again, like he changed drastically for me this year because similar to She-Hulk, when I first started playing, I did not enjoy Iron Man at all. I found his setup to be really slow and his low hand size, common theme here, like I really didn't like the low hand size. And yeah, I just found him frustrating and difficult to play. But then when I came back to Iron Man for my progression series, I enjoyed him a lot. I think it's just because I got better at the game and better at managing what the villain's doing. Because Iron Man, you have this little mini game of building your suit, but also you have to know when it's safe to actually go to Alter Ego and build your suit. And then when you aren't familiar with the villains, that's very difficult. So in a certain sense, he sort of feels like he's testing, like, can you do his gimmick? And then also how well do you actually know the villain you're playing against? And I know the villain's better, so like that side of it got better. And yeah, Iron Man, gonna go and enjoy. He's not a new favorite of mine, and he's not an old favorite of mine, but I do enjoy him. And then Spider-Man, Peter Parker, gonna be an old favorite. So he's dropped off a little bit for me. So like I had a similar arc of like, yeah, I didn't enjoy. Oh, I just kept a marble down here. I'm gonna move that. But I had a similar arc For Spider-Man, where I didn't enjoy him that much when I first started playing him, it's just I felt like awkward when I was playing him. And also I forgot to draw with his spider sensibility all the time. But I returned to him early on and enjoyed him. And thematically he's one of my favorite heroes. So like he's been one of my favorites after returning to him the first time for a long time. And then Captain Marvel, I like Captain Marvel a lot. I never had any difficulties playing her. She was the character that I played the most in the core box because it just like clicked for me. And also she's just kind of easier to play. So I'm gonna put her in Enjoy, and I think below Iron Man. She was never like one of my favorite heroes, but I do like her. And I do think I like Iron Man a little bit more than her now. And now we're into wave one. So preface here, this is the wave that I think I have the least experience with because I went from the core box, skipped all of wave one, and then went straight to Mad Titan's Shadow, which is not what I recommend, but that is what I did. So Captain America, I think I've played him like 3 or 4 times, and I liked him. He's a little basic, but not in like a bad way or anything. So Captain America, I'm just gonna put into the want to play more, and then also along with Miss Marvel because this is where I'm at currently in my progression series. So I'll have more of a formed opinion of both of these characters after that. But yeah, for currently, I haven't played either of these much. So I played Miss Marvel's precon deck twice. I haven't deck built for her yet, and I've played Captain America. I think 2 or 3 times, and I built one deck for him up to this point. But yeah, neither of these are explored for me. And then Thor is one that I want to play more for sure. So like I've played Thor a bit more than these, but still not all that much. I think that Thor, similar to Black Panther, is kind of underexplored. I because when you look at his kit, he's again a low hand size hero, but he has high health, and then he has 2 resource generators and a card that increases his hand size back to a normal hero, and then he gets to draw cards when you engage a minion. So Thor actually, I think he has an extremely high potential that I personally haven't tapped into, and haven't really seen many people tap into. I have seen very very recently after the release of Magneto, that card that leadership card that lets you discard till you get a minion. That's gone, like kind of revitalized the conversation with Thor. So maybe the community's gonna explore him more, but I personally haven't done it enough yet. But he's one of the first heroes on my list that I'm looking forward to playing more because I've always really liked Thor. But yeah, so then let's see here. We got Black Widow, and she's gonna be the first one in this category. So like I kind of was excited to play her the very first time I played her. When I first got Rise of Red Skull, which is actually one of the last expansions that I got. She's the character I played through the box, and it was fine. But the more I've played her, like the kind of less I've enjoyed her because it's been sort of frustrating in my experience playing her, where I play all these preparations, but then they're not always triggering. It feels like things have to kind of go well for me when I play Black Widow. I don't think she's like particularly weak, but playing preparations and like trying to predict what the villain's gonna do, I don't enjoy as much as like having agency in what I do on my turn. So that's why she's down here. But I do have to play her more. I can't like confidently put her in this tier at the currently. And then Doctor Strange. Okay, Doctor Strange, I was the very first hero pack I bought to try to help me defeat Ultron, and it worked. And I like Doctor Strange a lot. He's not one of my favorites, but I do enjoy him quite a bit, and I think he's super fun. He's a character that I want to return to more as well. I think his Indication deck is extremely cool, and I like it a lot. The idea of like flipping through his spellbook to try to find what he needs in whatever situation he's in, and I think that's super fun. And I also like all of his cards, so I'm gonna put him here. I don't know. I'm kind of debating. I think I'll put him above Iron Man tentatively, just because I'm more excited currently about playing Doctor Strange than I am about Iron Man. So he'll go here. And then Hulk, he's gonna go neutral for me. So like Hulk is notorious for being one of the like least favorite heroes of the community, and I don't feel that way about him. He does have like problems in the sense of like he's kind of frustrating that you have to discard your hand, and he has 4 hand size, and then Banner only has 5 hand size, and then just stuff like that's kind of annoying. So there's like an active detriment to playing him, and then he also has a difficult obligation. But at the same time, it does feel like you're playing Hulk. He can do one thing each turn, and then he does that thing really big, whether he's Hulk smashing for like 13, or if he's doing his like suborbital leap and thwarting 5, and then using a basic activation. He has one thing that he's going to do a lot of, but he's not going to be that versatile, and he's not going to have like the giant turns that you're looking for. So like Star-Lord, for instance, has these huge burst damage turns that are like crazy combos that you can do. Hulk, that's not Hulk. Hulk is, I'm going to do 10 to 15 damage roughly every turn, and things will go bad for me at some point during the game, but I'll battle through it. That's kind of Hulk, and I do think he's really fun and he's really thematic, and I like him more than most people do. But that said, I still don't like him as much as I like these other heroes. And Hawkeye is I don't know. I also see a similar sentiment about Hawkeye that I do about Hulk, where it's like people are frustrated that you can only play one arrow, and I totally understand that. Like I do wish that like I could play all my arrows in one turn, but it doesn't bother me for some reason, and I just find him using the quiver and the expert marksman upgrades and then shooting the arrows off and like being in the back line. It just really feels like I'm Hawkeye, and I have some of the most fun games when I play Hawkeye. So he is certainly up here for me. I like Hawkeye a lot. I've been enjoying Black Panther recently more often, but this is all this stuff like that's within a tier is kind of interchangeable. Like I'll try to order it, but I don't know. I really like both of these heroes a lot, and Hawkeye is one of my favorites. And then Spider Woman, easy placement for here. Want to play more IA because I haven't played Spider Woman yet, so I don't have a lot to say there. And then Ant Man. I've played him a few times, and I want to play him more. Like I haven't played him enough to adequately explore him. I do tend to enjoy form changing heroes. Yeah, I haven't explored him as much. But Wasp, on the other hand, I have explored more, and I enjoy her quite a bit. She's gonna probably go ahead of Captain Marvel here. I really like her thing. I like how she's kind of like wants to be in tiny form, which is really fun to me, and I just enjoy her cards a lot. Like I don't have like a ton to say about Wasp. I just like her. Okay, and then Quicksilver. Um, yeah, that's gonna go here for me. Um, Quicksilver is another hero where it's just not for me. So I don't think Quicksilver is like poorly designed or like unfun for the general community, but he's not my favorite. I don't really enjoy his thing of like increasing my basic stats and readying over and over again, which is kind of like his whole hero kits thing. Like he can do a little more. He can like stun and that kind of thing, but I didn't enjoy him the first time I played him. I just felt like, is that it? Like, I just get it ready and then I try to buff up my stats. Like, that's how I felt about it. And ready mechanics notoriously just like aren't my favorite for some reason. I don't know why. That's just an opinion of mine. I don't enjoy heroes that just like want to ready multiple times in one turn. So yeah, that's another reason why Captain America, I'm tentatively thinking I'm gonna put him in neutral because like I don't enjoy it that much. But yeah, Quicksilver's a low for me, but I do want to play him more because again, I haven't played him all that much. So it's not fair for me to like put him in one of these tiers where it's like an actual opinion because I haven't played him enough. And then Scarlet Witch. Okay, Scarlet Witch. This is kind of difficult. It's somewhere between enjoy and neutral. I I think I think I'll go neutral. And the reason why is nothing against Scarlet Witch. It's just I never find myself sitting down and then wanting to play Scarlet Witch, and I don't know why. Because I like Mystics, I like her thing. I think it's cool. I like Hexbolt, but I don't really play her all that much, and yeah, I don't know. She's in here. I think I'm probably more likely to play her than Hulk, but yeah, not a lot to say there. And then Groot. Um, yeah, that's gonna go here. The first experience I had with Groot wasn't good. I was playing the Guardians. the Guardians campaign in 2 player, and I was like trying to be like a protection player, and I just didn't like it. His growth counters are cool to me, but not my favorite. Like it just like it feels so bad to me when I like when something goes wrong and then I take a hit and I lose all my growth counters and then I feel like I'm like incapacitated. Like that's not all that fun to me. But I need to play him again because I haven't returned to Groot. Like seriously, I think I played him 1 time since then, and it wasn't a deck that I built. And I tend to enjoy decks that I build more than the other ones. Like I actually seldom play other people's decks that I find online. I almost exclusively play decks that I built, and I play tested. I tested. I not play tested. I played a deck that someone on my stream suggested to me to play, and it just wasn't my deck. So yeah, I haven't explored him enough. That's all I have to say about him. And Rocket though, okay, so Rocket. This is interesting to me. Like Rocket, I hated when I started playing him. Yeah, it was so frustrating to me. But I was making a crucial rules mistake, which was like I don't know. It was my fault. I was just doing it wrong. So all of his weapons and tech upgrades have these counters. Like your battery pack has counters, and your plasma cannon has counters, your rocket launcher has counters, your pistol has counters, all that stuff, right? And then they don't say uses on them though. So but I was playing them as if they said uses. So the last counter, I would always discard the card after it was gone. And then especially playing that against Collector 1, which was not fun at all. I was like, this Tinkerer ability is so hard to use. You never actually get the last charge out of your weapon, your battery pack. Like, I can't tinker it if I use the last counter because then it just goes away. So I have to tinker it while it has a counter. And I'm like, this character sucks. And then it turns out that it was completely my fault. And his upgrades don't disappear when you do that because they don't say uses, which completely transforms his kit. Your weapons aren't just disappearing. Your battery packs aren't just disappearing. Your Tinkerer ability becomes much better. And yeah, I don't know. I just totally messed up Rocket when I started playing him. But now I went back to him recently, and I had so much fun playing Rocket. Rocket is one of my favorite heroes now, actually, after that. So he went from like my least favorite hero to my most favorite hero. Not necessarily my most favorite hero, but he's definitely a new favorite of mine, and I need to play him more. But like, yeah, I loved playing him last time. The last time I played him, I had so much fun. I enjoy his kit so much more now that I'm doing it correctly. So yeah, if you're making the same mistake I was making on Rocket, please fix it, and hopefully you'll enjoy him more. And Star-Lord, I've talked about Star-Lord a lot. He's historically my favorite hero. And yeah, I just love his mechanic. I think it's so cool making everyone guardians. I like the feeling of getting his element guns out and just like blasting, and has piercing, and it's super fun. I like making all my allies guardians and playing leadership because leadership is my favorite aspect. And then getting those giant turns with daring escape, where I can like deal myself a bunch of encounter cards, ready up, attack, use my element gun, pierce through tough, and then sliding shot for like a bunch of damage is just one of my favorite combos in the whole game, especially with Blaze of Glory. Like I love Star-Lord. And yeah, so he's one of my oldest favorite hero essentially is Star-Lord. And then Gamora, yeah, so I have not played Gamora nearly as much as Star-Lord. She's just going to go here. I'm going to get to her eventually. So I've always enjoyed like the concept of what she's trying to do, of like you want to thwart an attack every turn so you can get those pings. And she has some resource generators to help with defense, and she also has a really solid stat line. So that's always looked cool to me. But I haven't explored her that much. So my only reservation really about her is this could be totally wrong because I haven't played her a lot, but she doesn't feel like she's that great at like giant burst damage turns. So she's like an event-based hero that feels like mid damage and chit damage and mid thwart and chip thwart, and she doesn't really feel like she is actually one of the highest output when I need like a lot of damage. So if I'm looking like, oh, I have a final push, gotta get a lot of damage, I'm not looking to Gamora. And yeah, I don't know. That's just my only reservation about her, which maybe I'm wrong, and maybe she actually is like super good at doing burst damage and stuff like that, and I'm just not exploring her enough, which is totally possible. And then Drax. Drax is gonna go here and enjoy. I don't know where he's gonna go exactly, but I like Drax. I think it's really fun to like build up those vengeance counters, and once his vengeance counters are going, his kit feels great. Like you get like knife leap is so fun when you have all the counters. Just is one of my favorite attack events in the game. And then if something goes wrong and you do flip down when you have full vengeance counters, you get a bunch of healing for it. I like that a lot. And unfortunately though, for solo, I don't think he's great because like he's really slow because he has to like take a bunch of hits from the villain, which isn't a great strategy. So yeah, he's more of a multiplayer hero in my eyes because he has time to do his thing, and then once he builds up and gets what he wants to do going, he's extremely good at. So most of the time I play Drax, it's in multiplayer, and I like him a lot. So I think I'll put him probably above Captain Marvel. I don't know about above Wasp. I don't know. He's somewhere in there, somewhere in here. I don't know. I just yeah. I don't, the order of this isn't really exact, but you know, we'll go on. I like Drax, and Venom is a character I'm neutral about. I've played him a few times, and it wasn't great. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great. I just felt like, okay, this is a very versatile hero. He seems pretty strong, but like I just didn't enjoy it that much. Yeah, nothing against Venom. I think he's a very powerful character, but yeah, not just not my favorite. And Adam Warlock. Adam Warlock has gone on a big journey for me because he was the again Mad Titan's Shadow was the first campaign box that I got, and Adam Warlock was one of my favorite characters from the comics before playing that. So I was just super excited about him. And then I could use every aspect, which was so fun because I like deck building. And it really like taught me deck building was like building decks for Adam Warlock, which that's always going to stick with me there. And then thematically, I think he's great. I like the Pip the Troll ally and all that. But he's not as powerful as I thought he was at the beginning. Like when I first started playing, I'm like, oh, this is the strongest hero. It's just so fun. He builds up his board and it gets amazing. But yeah, he's just a bit slow is all, because it takes a while to get like all your mystic senses out, get like your mystic upgrades out, and like all that stuff. So and then once you're fully built out, he feels like a little weaker than I wished he was. Not saying he's weak at all, but I don't know. It was just not as returning to him after a while. He wasn't as cool as I thought he was the first time, but at the same time, I do really like him. So yeah, he's gonna go in an old favorite just because he really is one of my old favorites. But it is notable that he has kind of dropped off for me a little bit. So when I'm in the mood for building an interesting deck, I like Adam Warlock, and yeah, he'll be in here. In Spectrum, Paulina's favorite hero. Um, I haven't played her that much, so it just goes there. Not much more to say about that. Nebula, yeah, I've played Nebula a few times recently. I think she goes in the neutral tier for me. I don't dislike her, but she's not a hero I'm gonna like go to generically. I kind of have to be in the mood for Nebula, but I do enjoy her when I am playing her, and like I did want to sit down and play Nebula and like focus on preparations and stuff. But she's a little frustrating to play with a couple things in her kit. So yeah, she's in neutral for me, but towards the bottom of it. And then War Machine. Okay, so War Machine, I think before I was like current with the release schedule, War Machine I think was the very last hero pack that I got. And I wish that I had got him sooner because he's turns out to be one of my favorite heroes. So it's so interesting. And he came with so many good aspect cards and leadership allies that I just didn't have that whole time. And I was like, what was I doing not getting the War Machine pack? Because it's a good pack and he's super fun. Like I really like his suit that he builds out. It's not as intense as Iron Man, but it's also really fun. And I just have a fun time when I play his events. So I don't know. He's one of those heroes where like when I'm sitting down for a multiplayer game, like War Machine's like War Machine and Hawkeye and Rocket, these kind of heroes are like at the top of my list for like, okay, I'm playing a multiplayer game. I want to play these heroes because I find them to be really fun. So it's not, I don't think they're necessarily like the most powerful heroes or anything, which is why I prefer them in multiplayer, where there's just like a little more breathing room. But they're by no means weak especially in multiplayer. Like they are, they can do everything they need to do. I don't feel like a detriment to the table or anything. And with Rocket, especially, like I feel like one of the strongest heroes at the table when I play Rocket. Yeah, I love these heroes. New favorites of mine recently, and Valkyrie. She goes here. Yeah, I've played her like only a couple times, and yeah, I just didn't have that much fun. I was just getting really frustrated with Deathglow, and it could be also as playing solo expert. That's a big caveat here because I don't think that Valkyrie is really a solo hero. Like she seems so good at taking out minions to me that just means that like I want to play her in multiplayer in a minion heavy scenario, and then I'll have a blast with Valkyrie. But yeah, so yeah, just need to play her more, and I want to play her in multiplayer settings more. And then Vision. Okay, so Vision, I don't know. The people who've been around a long time on my channel know how I feel about Vision, but I think it's sort of a secret. So Vision goes all the way up into one of my old favorites because he's always been one of my favorites. I find his kit to be extremely fun, extremely powerful as well, and I just enjoy it. So like shout out to Boom Guy, the other like staunch Vision supporter. But yeah, I love Vision. His form changing just feels so good to me because you can go between dense and intangible every single turn, and then some of your cards are locked to either dense or intangible, or you have to be in that form to play them. But the thing is, you just have an action that lets you flip whenever you want. So it's like I've never ran into a situation where I wasn't able to just do my turn in a certain order to make sure everything I wanted to do works. And he has an amazing signature ally. And there's like really fun Android support. Like I really enjoy that Android basic event that lets you ready an Android character and heal them. Like I think it's fantastic. And I think actually he probably goes up here, like above Spider-Man and Adam Warlock. Yeah, but below Star-Lord. I love Vision, and I always have. And then Ghost Spider. So this one, okay, so Ghost Spider, I think she's probably gonna be here. And the reason for that is she synergizes so well with protection that that's what I want to play her in. But at the same time, I just don't really like protection that much. So she's a hero that feels built for my least favorite aspect, which is just kind of unfortunate because I think she's really cool and I love Web Warriors. But yeah, I just haven't returned to her much. I enjoyed playing her the first time through the Sinister Motives campaign, but I haven't returned to her, and I want to. I want to play her more. And then Miles. Okay, so Miles, I just very recently returned to, and I absolutely loved Miles. I just played him in. I played him a few solo games, and I played him in 4-player, with a game with Joshy of Smeg and my name Jeff and Char, and I had a great time. So I was doing justice, thwarting all the side schemes, but on the final push, I was able to do the most damage on the whole team, and I did like over 50 damage as Justice Miles after having spent the whole game thwarting and like doing it for the whole table. And I just think that's so good. I think he is like so good and powerful and fun. And yeah, I love Miles. He's currently at the very end of the year, he's the hero that I've most recently been having the most fun with, and he's gonna likely be the top spot up here. I don't know. I love Miles. And yeah, Nova. Okay, so Nova is weird for me because it's not that I haven't played him. I've played Nova a decent amount, but my initial impression of him was similar to like my initial impression of Black Panther, where I'm like, okay, Nova has his thing that he wants to do. He wants to unleash the Nova Force, take out a bunch of minions and side schemes in one turn. And then my first impression was, but there's not always minions and side schemes to do, so my Unleash the Nova Force can whiff, and is he really that good if he can't do that? and so I just didn't play him that much. And I think that was a mistake because like when I look at his kit now, I'm like, no, he does not need to unleash the Nova Force to be good. He is good the whole time. And he's fun the whole time, and he's cosmic, and I love the cosmic heroes. So even though I've played him a decent amount, I just feel like there's so much to explore with Nova, and he's such a like complicated and in-depth hero that he just deserves more plays. So I'm putting him here. And then Ironheart. So Ironheart, I've taken through a couple campaigns. I took her through Sinister Motives on Expert, and I'm gonna put her here and enjoy. I do like playing her. I like building up the suit, but not the character I'm most excited about. I think that Ironheart's building style is really fun, and it's different than Iron Man's in like a very cool way. And she becomes extremely powerful after you get to the end. But there's just like one thing that bothers me about her that is holding her back from being higher up in Enjoy or like into my newer old favorites. It's really like a minor complaint. It's just I feel like every time I'm playing Ironheart, my goal is I'm supposed to make it to stage 3 or version 3 of Ironheart and then build up enough progress counters to such that when I flip the villain, I can just one shot the villain the entire stage of the villain with progress counters, which I don't know. That's not that fun to me. And then it's just always in the back of my mind every time I play Ironheart, which that's the only thing holding her back for me, really. Because other than that, which I'm not even saying that's bad, I just don't like it that much for some reason. And yeah, that's the only thing holding her back. And then Spider Ham, I'm kind of neutral on Spider Ham. There's like, I don't know. He's not unfun for me, but his mechanic of just like I get a bunch of extra resources just isn't that interesting to me. So I don't find myself really wanting to play him. But I probably still would play him more often than these characters. I don't know. Maybe more often than Scarlet Witch too, just because I like spiders better. I do like spiders and I like web warriors, so probably play Spider Ham, but I'm just kind of neutral on him. And the SPDR suit, this one's really easy because I have not played SPDR. So SPDR goes in my want to play more. And now Colossus. Okay. So Colossus was again similar to my Rocket and Groot experience where I didn't have fun the first time I played him because like I was playing his precon deck against Sabretooth in campaign mode and 2-player, just lost a bunch of times in a row and then didn't have fun. And I haven't really returned to him since that. So I think I played him one more time on stream recently when the game with Storm, a two-handed game, and yeah, the deck I came up with just kind of got completely countered by Dark Beast because all of Dark Beast's environments just knock off his toughs except for the one that adds threat, which not a great matchup. So he goes here. I want to explore him more because I haven't really figured out how I enjoy playing him yet. But yeah, that's all I have to say about him. And then Shadowcat is interesting because I feel like she's right on the border of I have played her enough to figure it out. And I think that she probably goes in an Enjoy for me, maybe above Doctor Strange, because like I really like her mechanic. I like form changing heroes like I was talking about, and all of her cards are super interesting to me, but I just haven't played her quite enough. But I have played her enough to confidently say I enjoy her a lot. So yeah, I don't have a ton to say, just other than I think every single one of her cards is really cool. So she's up here. And then Cyclops. Okay. I didn't really play Cyclops until pretty recently, so he's going to come up here. I enjoy Cyclops a lot. Probably here, because, like, again, I love leadership, and I also just really like using his visor. So even though he's, like, the premier leadership hero, I still find myself just wanting to use his visor, not necessarily just spam allies. So that pool Cyclops deck that I made, I think you'll see the thumbnail of like my favorite deck. It's because I just love using the visor so much, and I can still use a bunch of allies, and then it has some really fun synergies with pool. So yeah, I like pool Cyclops a lot, and I just think he's really fun. And then Phoenix. Okay. Phoenix is historically my competing for my favorite hero with Star-Lord. I still think Star-Lord is slightly more of my favorite than Phoenix, but she's been one of my favorites the entire time. I just really enjoy going unleashed with Phoenix, and I just love that. So like I see a lot of people playing like the restrained version of Phoenix where you're just playing like Justice or something, and then you're just thwarting for the table. But I don't really like that. I want to go unleashed when I play Phoenix because the cards just become so much more powerful and so much more fun. And as you can see by Star Lord being my favorite hero, I like risky strategies. So yeah, Phoenix definitely goes up there. And then Wolverine. Okay, Wolverine I think is super cool, but I don't know. He he's definitely above neutral for me, and he's better than Ironheart. He's somewhere in here. I probably around Captain. He's roughly even with in this zone. I don't know. This is kind of hard, but I like Wolverine a lot. I just think it's so fun healing up, and he has so many attack events. He's a little like he feels a little awkward to me when I play him, and that kind of initially drove me away from him. But it's not as bad now. But I still do feel kind of awkward when I play Wolverine for some reason. I'm not really sure why that is. So yeah, I gotta move him up. It's just Wolverine's so cool. So I gotta move him up. Yeah, I don't not a lot to say about him. He's super fun, super thematic, and then just not my favorite hero, but I like him a lot. And then Storm. Okay, Storm is one that I'm currently on a mission to find a build that I enjoy for her because I haven't played her that much, but when I look at her cards, I think her cards are just absolutely amazing and fun. And she has so much impact in a multiplayer setting when she gives every character buffs and nerfs depending on what weather is out. And I like that a lot. So and again, I just haven't explored Storm enough, so she's gonna go there for now. And Gambit. Gambit was okay, so when I first went through the Mutant Genesis campaign, I mentioned how I failed with Colossus on beating Sabretooth. So then I just switched to Gambit. And I enjoyed Gambit a lot. I had just like a lot of fun playing Gambit. I think he's probably here for me. Somewhere around Wolverine. I think I like him a little bit better than Wolverine just because I like the character a bit better than Wolverine. And I think he's super fun. I like building up the charge counters, and his Royal Flush is really cool. I like characters that have 3 defense. So I have this like fun game where I was playing with Paulina and Johnny. I was playing protection. I just kept saying, Gambit don't take no damage. And I just didn't take damage for the entire game. And then there was this other time where the dragon came out and I was able to just like burst the dragon. And that was just so fun. So like I love Gambit. And then Rogue. Okay, Rogue has always been one of my favorite X-Men characters. And she's also one of my favorites to play. She's definitely going to go up here. I don't know how high. I think I do like Hawkeye more. I think she goes about there. I just really like playing Rogue. I see the critique of her quite often of like she doesn't work in solo, which I just don't think that's true. I think it's harder to do the like weird trait builds with her in solo, but she's not unfunctional at all in solo. In my opinion, she still works quite well. Like her jacket that gives her the +1 thwart or +1 attack, depending on if you attach it to a minion or not a minion, a friendly character or an enemy character, is really cool to me. I like playing her with Utopia and then like getting either 3 attack or 3 thwart with that upgrade, and then like getting a ready off with Utopia. I think that's super cool. Bulletproof Belt is one of my favorite cards in the whole game. I just think it's really fun. And I like being able to choose where touch goes to get different benefits from my cards. And in multiplayer especially, it's so fun just like stealing identity specific cards from other players. I really like that. And then Cable. I just need to play him more because I haven't really played him. I tried Web Warrior Fanatic's Cable deck that he uses to like beat all those tough scenarios, and it worked. It worked well. I was able to beat Expert Ronin with him, but it's just I don't know. I just want to find my own deck for him. and my own way of playing him. And that was my first time playing Cable, was just like taking that deck against Expert Ronin. I think I played him 3 times, and then the first time I lost, but that's just because I was playing too aggressive. And the other 2 times I won, and it just wasn't that fun during those wins. Yeah, so I need to play him and build my own decks for him. And then Domino. Okay, so Domino is a really weird one for me because when I first played Domino, I was like, okay, this is the coolest thing in the game. There's nothing better than Domino, and that's how it felt to me. But then I just kind of like don't feel like I'm in the mood to just like try to like guarantee what cards on top of my deck. Like her thing just got less interesting and less fun to me the more I played her. So like she started out being my favorite, and then just the more I played her, just kept going down. But I don't dislike her, so I'm neutral about Domino. She's probably like towards the top of my neutral tier because I do think she's really cool. It's just I never feel like playing Domino for some reason anymore. Even though my first impression of her was like, this is the coolest character in the game. Okay, and then Psylocke. So not much of a surprise here if you've watched my channel for a while. But yeah, I love Psylocke. So both of these psionic heroes, just super fun to me. I really like having those resource generator upgrades out. There's a leadership build that I tried for Psylocke where I did the Uncanny X-Force, and it was just ridiculously broken at thwarting. So like I was doing so much threat removal in a 3-player campaign that I played with Paulina and Johnny that it kind of like just trivialized threat for the whole table, which I don't know, that was really cool, but also like it was kind of ridiculous how powerful it was. And then in solo, I really like her in her aggression because I just really like aggression psionic characters. I think it's kind of ridiculous that she can have 3 thwart or 3 attack with piercing on the first turn. Like that's just so powerful. And her 4 hand size isn't really that much of a limitation in my opinion because she has those 2 resource generators out. So she still has like 6 resources if you count like her 4 cards and then her 2 resource generators. She has 6 resources available to her, even in hero form with her small hand size, whereas most characters only have 5. So like, yeah. And then when you do confuse and there's a bunch of them built into her kit, you get to go down and get 6 hand size with 2 resource generators. And the way like economy works in this game is you get if you have a high starting economy, you can play economy supports easier. And then when you have 1 economy support, it's easier to play 2. And then when you have 2, it's easier to play 3. And just sort of like it's not a linear function. It's like exponential in the higher your base economy, the more powerful it is. It's ridiculous. So yeah, her economy is just crazy. And then Angel. Okay, so Angel, I hadn't played all that much until extremely recently. So I'm in the middle of doing the Mutant Genesis campaign now with Johnny and Paulina. And I chose Angel and Justice. So I'm experimenting with that. And I enjoy Angel a lot. So he's going to go up in my new favorites. Maybe right below Rogue. Or I don't know. He's somewhere in. He feels similar to War Machine, how much I like him. But like, it was really cool because like, again, I like these form changing heroes. And then there was this combo I did where, because he says after you play an aerial event, you get to draw a card as a response. And then I was using Yaw and Roll. And that card is a response after I thwart. You can like thwart 3 more and it's 1 cost. And then his resource lets you return the event to your hand. So I was able to play Yaw and Roll like 4 times in a row or something like that. And it was crazy. And then there was another turn, which one of my favorite things is playing Justice and then switching to damage on the final push. And Angel's pretty good at that. So like I manipulated my deck to where I would have I had all of my attack events in my deck as I was about to deck out and as we were about to do the final push. And then I had my my resources again. So I was able to play my Razor Dive like 4 times in 1 turn, which was just really cool. So I really like all the combos that are available to him. And then I like how when you earn Archangel, you get that like extra damage after you play an event. And then I like his wings, how they like help you either afford events or like you get to ready. And it's just really cool to me. And his Metamorphosis card is cool, where you get to change forms, and then you get a different benefit, and then you still get to change forms again. So you can see like multiple of your forms in one turn, and I really like Angel. He seems I don't know, because like in a sense he seems completely broken, but then also he doesn't at the same time. He's weird because he feels like he's the most powerful character in the game, and then also feels like he's not, like at the same time. So I don't really know what's going on with that. I still have to figure that out more. But I love I love Angel. So now X23, and yeah, this one's probably going to be one of my more controversial ones because X23 is like notoriously one of the best designed heroes in most people's opinions, and she's super versatile and fun and has all these combos and different like things you can do. And I agree with all that, but I don't enjoy playing her that much. And it's nothing like against X23. Like I see the appeal of why people like X23. It's just again going back to like kind of like that Quicksilver thing of like I don't really enjoy just trying to ready multiple times in one turn. Like that's not really my favorite thing. And when I'm playing her, it feels again like okay, I buff up my stats. I try to get as many readies as I can in that turn, and yeah, that's just not for me. And it's still not for me. So like nothing against X23. I think she's a fantastic hero. It's just not my favorite. But at the same time, I've only played her a couple times, so I'm not gonna like judge her and like put her somewhere. It's just yeah, I gotta play her more. It's funny that like, She Hulk's the only character that I don't really enjoy that is that I have it that I've actually played enough times to confidently put them there. That's interesting. Now Deadpool, on to yet another controversial one because like people seem to either most of the opinions I see actually are people saying they don't like Deadpool, and I don't know. Deadpool's just one of my favorites, and he always has been, and he's probably gonna go somewhere around Vision, either above or below Vision. He's somewhere in here for me. Um, I just really like Deadpool. Like I also enjoy the pool aspect. I don't always play Deadpool in the pool aspect. I think that he's totally functional without doing all those crazy pool things. And what people don't like, which is kind of similar honestly to what I said I didn't enjoy that much about Ironheart, is like you just buff up his HP and you have a one-shot combo like at all times, which can feel kind of like game breaking in like an unfun way, or like okay, this hero just rushes every scenario down, and like rush isn't my favorite way to play this scenario either. But at the same time, I think that the rest of his kit is so fun that I don't even feel forced into rushing. So like I do like burst damage. It's like his combo I find to be fun of doing maximum effort, and then this card is fire. And I like that, but it's not all there is to him. Like I think his katanas are extremely good. I like the card that lets you like switch about all of your stuff. I can't remember if that's a pool card that lets you do that or if that's one of his. But anyways, like I think it's one of his cards. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's one of his. Where it's I think it's called Arm to the Teeth, where you get to like choose an upgrade from like a different aspect. So like I think it's a weapon upgrade. You get to choose a different weapon, and then you just get to like swap your weapons out. I think that's super fun. And his katanas letting him like take a damage to deal damage. I really like. I like that he just doesn't die, and he's like a nuisance to the villain. And then the acceleration tokens never feel like a big deal to me because he has that card. I think it's called like It Ain't Over, where it attaches to the main scheme and then it increases the threshold based off the number of acceleration tokens. And it just, I never actually feel like I'm nerfed by doing that. It feels like I have a way to deal with it, and then you can plan around it. And I think that deck building for Deadpool also is underexplored because the combo for him, the rush combo of just buffing up his HP and one-shotting a villain is so powerful that I feel like a lot of people just stopped there. And yeah, I don't think that's all there is to Deadpool at all. Especially with Jimmy Tonga Truck being like one of the best supports and coolest supports in the game that works for the whole table. I don't know. I love Deadpool and I like the pool aspect, but my enjoyment of Deadpool is separate from my enjoyment of the pool aspect because I like Deadpool in the other aspects as well. Okay, and then Bishop. So we're on to the most recent wave now, which Bishop is interesting because I've always thought he's really powerful. I've played him a few times, but yeah, I haven't played him really all that much to where I can really get an opinion of it. Yeah, and yeah, I think he's good. Got to play him more. Magic. I have played Magic more because I do like Mystics, and she is. I don't know. She seems like she's going to be extremely fun, and but every time I play her, it's like not as fun as I wished it was. So, but at the same time, I do like it. So she kind of falls into this like similar thing of Domino to me, where I'm just like gaming what card is on top of the deck, which is not like my favorite thing, but I do like her more than Domino. But maybe she's like at the top of neutral. She's either top of neutral or somewhere in here. I don't know, because I do enjoy her stuff quite a bit. I need to explore her deck building more. So I think I'm gonna go neutral for now. Or no, I for certain I do like her more than Ironheart. Okay, I'll put her up here because another thing with her is that because she's an X-Men and a Mystic, when you add all the like basic X-Men support that's super good and all the basic Mystic support that's super good, you end up with just like a really generic and basic deck, which yeah, I but she doesn't have to be that way, right? You don't have to do that. I just feel pressured into doing that. So she's a character that I need to explore more on the deck building front. I think that's my opinion. That's my opinion of her. And then Iceman. Okay, so the first time I played Iceman, I was like, fine. I thought this was like, oh, this is novel. It's different than everyone else. And I think he has a interesting mechanic, but at the same time, I just don't enjoy it when I'm playing Iceman. So yeah, he's gonna go down here. Again, similar to, I think part of it is that similar to X-23 and Quicksilver, it feels like he's just incentivized to just try to ready over and over again, which he does it differently. I do like the way he does it better, but there's just like certain things about his kit that just feel clunky and annoying to me. And yeah, I just got to play him more because, like, again, I haven't played him enough to like definitively really say anything. So I'm just going to put him in the didn't enjoy but want to play more. Then on to Jubilee, Nightcrawler, Magneto, and I have played all these characters more than I've played these characters. So Jubilee, um, yeah, I love Jubilee. She was so fun to me when she came out. I really like her resource thing she's got going on and her sunglasses and her coat where she gets to like get different get damage and threat depending on what resource type she uses. Again, like I like characters that have high economy because it feels like I can like express myself through like my plays and my deck building more. And she has a resource generator built into her kit, which I like a lot. A lot of people aren't a fan of it and are just like, okay, so her stats suck and her ability just generates a resource when all these other characters have good stats and an ability that does something and they like think it's not as good as other characters. And I don't really agree with that. I've found in my plays that the resource is like extremely valuable, and then you can get the coat or the glasses or whatever you want very quickly with Shopping Spree. So it's like I'm not a 1-1-2 character for all that long. Her stats become 2-2-2 as soon as you get those upgrades, which a lot of people don't like waiting for that. But I've never really found that to be annoying. The only thing that's kind of difficult about her is that she has really low health. Uh, but her economy is high enough to where she can just kind of like fix that problem with allies. And then if you're against a non-steady or stalwart villain, then she has the solutions built into her deck where you just use a bunch of status cards. You stun and confuse a lot. It's like her blinding flash card. Like I remember I played that in the Four Horsemen scenario. I was able to just like keep all of the horsemen stunned and confused the entire game, and that was so fun. And she's one of my favorite characters in the game. I think she's kind of underrated, and I'm not exactly sure why, but like I love Jubilee. She's one of my new favorites, but she's competitive with these as well. I don't know. She's somewhere around here. So like historically for like until extremely recently, she would have been at the top of this, but just like in the last like week, I've been playing Miles more, so I'm just putting her here for now. This isn't like a definitive order or anything, because like the order gets more like solidified once it goes into my old favorites and I've had more time with the characters. But yeah, I Jubilee is easily one of my favorite characters in the entire game. And then Nightcrawler. Also, I had a great time playing Nightcrawler when he came out. The review I did for Nightcrawler, I absolutely loved it. I think his kit's incredibly interesting. He's one of the only characters that I feel like, wow, I actually think I want to go play protection with this character because he has such good synergy with it. And yeah, I still don't play him in protection because he's honestly like good enough at it to where he doesn't really need to be in the protection aspect, in my opinion. But especially in multiplayer, I think he's so good at protection. Like when you're doing protection in multiplayer and you're blocking for, you can actually block for like 3 to 4 people like by yourself, and that's so cool. And the rest of his kit's so interesting. The bamfs that let the way that you can manipulate bamfs and how it interacts with the rest of your kit, I think was extremely well done. And I am a giant fan of Nightcrawler. I think I like Jubilee a little bit more than Nightcrawler, but yeah, he's one of my favorites. And then the art on his card is so good. I don't actually like the art. The background of Jubilee's just isn't that great to me. I love the fireworks and I like her little like pose and her sunglasses and stuff, but like Nightcrawler has great art, and then also his background is just so cool. So I love the art on Nightcrawler. And then on to the very last hero. So yeah, the most recent hero that just came out was Magneto. Magneto holds kind of like a special place for me because Fantasy Flight contacted me to do one of the previews where I got to preview Children of the Atom and M for the community, and that was really cool. Like also those cards that they let me use were just really fun. And yeah, I liked Magneto a lot. Um, he I don't I have enjoyed him a little bit less the more I've played him, but at the same time, he's definitely not neutral. Like it's I don't think it's going to be as extreme of a difference as Domino. But yeah, the only thing that I can say that I don't really like all that much about Magneto is that his ability relies on discarding cards off the top of your deck. So it's really consistent for doing his strategy. And his strategy of like getting your magnetic upgrades down using your magnetic events is incredibly consistent to where it almost doesn't even matter what you put into your deck because you'll see a minimum one magnetic card every turn. Where I run into issues with it is that because I'm discarding so many cards off the top of my deck, I don't feel like I can like really lean into my deck building that much. And deck building is one of my favorite things about the game. So then when I'm discarding off the top of my deck, I'm like, do I really want to add this card if I'm just likely going to discard it off the top anyways? And then I always run into that. And then I feel like I need to add like 3 copies of a card if I want to actually guaranteed see it, but I don't always want 3 copies of a card, especially unique cards. Like and or like not unique because you're not allowed to add more, but cards that like let you add that are like max 1 per player, something like Heroic Intuition. I feel like if I want that in my deck, I kind of need to add 3 to like guarantee that I see it, and that's just it's kind of a downer for me. But I think he was really well done and very cool. I don't know where I want to put him here. I think that Magneto. I think I do like him less than Jubilee and Nightcrawler. Um, I think he's just gonna go towards like the top of Enjoy for me currently. Maybe he could move up, but like, yeah, yeah, I think he's right there because I do like all of these characters a lot, and when I look at them, and then I think about, okay, if I'm in a random game, do I want to be playing this character, or do I want to be playing Magneto? And I think I'd rather play these characters. So yeah, that's my completed tier list here. Let's look at it a little bit because like the thing that stands out is that the only character that I'm like, okay, I can confidently say that this character isn't really for me is She-Hulk, which is funny because like I don't know, just having one character in that category. I imagine like some of these characters and then some of these characters will eventually end up there. But yeah, I don't know. I just really, really do want to play all of these characters more. And I do feel like every single character in this game had a lot of thought and care put into designing their kit. And it's so hard to just say, like, oh, I don't like this character because oftentimes I think I'm just going to be missing something about them. So like I don't want to like make too many harsh judgments about these. So even though I've played Nova like it probably like 8 times, but I still just don't feel confident putting them down here because I need to explore them more. Yeah, and also I didn't say this at the beginning, I don't think, but like this is obviously just my opinion, and it's just based on preference. It's not like a power tier list or anything like that. And yeah, I hope that this was enjoyable for you to watch. And let me know in the comments if I am just totally on point or also completely off base. Like it's fun to just like talk about, oh, I can't believe that you think that Adam Warlock is that high up. There's no way that Adam Warlock is more fun than Scarlet Witch or whatever it is. Like I think those conversations are really fun to have. And yeah, I love this game. I like all these characters. I'm excited to see where the game is going to go in the future with the new campaign boxes and the new designers. And yeah, I am. This is just a snapshot of how I feel at the end of 2024 about these characters and Marvel Champions. I think it'll be really fun to like, especially once I get all of these characters that I want to play more out of here and like into the list. I think that'll be a really interesting list too. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay zesty.